Welcome to the Big Biz Show. Taking care of business. You want fast-talking, hard-hitting discussions on business and finance? Maybe with a barroom slant and some really salty peanuts? We're not counting calories. We're counting cash. Before we get to the man with the financial plan, meet the money team. Costa, Mary, and Greg. Now Captain Finance himself, Sully.
Hi from the Loft 100 studios here in beautiful, sunny Southern California. It is the Big Biz Show, as we'd like to say around these parts.
No, we don't.
A big old howdy to you. I'm Costa and Mary Bergodovan, our executive producer, Greg Todorov, and of course, Sully. Good morning, Sully.
Say hello to 1/3 of Sullivan, the band, the Daytator Trio.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I would like to introduce you to something that me and Mike Costa like to call the sniff of superiority. It goes like this. Yeah, that would be the sniff of superiority. Now, why, might you ask, am I doing the sniff of superiority? Let's bring on Howie Font, our analyst, and he could probably shed some light for you because...
Okay.
We don't like to say a big howdy to you. We like to say, I told you so, suckers! Howie, why am I doing the sniff of superiority?
It's just the maturity on display. I love it. You are owed this. So listen, we've been going through tariffs for the last month. It's been exhausting post Liberation Day.
Oh my God, the world's gonna come to an end. The stock market's down 40%.
The market is now up for the first time in the year.
Hello.
We are up a little bit from Liberation Day.
But wait a second. I thought this guy's ruining the economy. I thought he's ruining the stock market. I thought he's ruining the economy. It's horrible. Yep. This is so out of his playbook. Did you think for one second, whether you like Donald Trump or not? I mean, the guy's... But he knows what he's doing to the economy. Do you think his ego would permit him?
Nope.
For 1 second.
Nope.
And his legacy is going to be crappy economy, crappy stock market.
Yep.
Okay, Rules for Radicals, which is a liberal sort of communist, socialist book written by Saul Alinsky, says create chaos and then come to the rescue. Okay? And then the people will love you and lead you. What did Donald Trump just do? He took a page out of the socialist communist book.
Sure.
Rules for Radicals, which was back in the 60s, and he just did the exact same thing, which is I don't know why this is surprising, but how much is the stock market up in the last 2 weeks? It's like what, 40%, 30%?
No, I mean we're not quite at those levels, but we have rallied quite a lot. It's been a 1,000-point jump from the bottom of the trade disputes to now, which is actually incredible to see. And I will say this is playing out exactly as you said from the very beginning. It's very true. I will say, didn't see the president coming in using socialist communist tactics. But
he kind of did. I mean, the way I look at it, he kind of did.
Yeah. And, I mean, if you light a fire and then set it and then put it out, are we better off or
I think they
not?
call that narcissist behavior when you steal something and say then you say you lost it and blame the other person for losing, and then you find it to come to the rescue or something. Howie, what's interesting about this is not a Donald Trump thing in my mind. It's its lesson to talk about the fact that the market runs on two emotions, and those two emotions are fear and greed, or in the band's case, and
no rider.
I think there's a lot to that actually, because this has been kind of a psychological rope-a-dope between policy and the market reaction. So, I mean, we're going to end up with a net tariff of 28% or something like that, weighted across all of the countries and trade deficit and all that, which is much, much higher than we had before 6 weeks ago, before Liberation Day. So for the same economic output in the stock market, you're getting higher tariffs, which is what the president wants.
Howie, watch me. Look over here. Look over here. The old rope-a-dope.
He is our market.
Muhammad Ali did it.
Our market analyst, Howie Font, always with us here at the Big Biz Show. You always stay with us as well. We're back right after this. Big Biz Show rolls on. We are live from the Loft 100 studios in sunny Southern California. Those guys on stage, the Date Trader Trio, best in the business, no less than self-taught. Back here at the bar, it's Costa, Mary Godwin, Greg Todorov, and Sully, and we are currently visiting with our market analyst, best head of hair in the business, Mr. Howie Font.
That's exactly right. Howie, do you know what's interesting as we talk about this? The rope-a-dope we talked about, how I think it was, this is how Donald Trump creates chaos. He always does the exact opposite of what you think he's going to do, then he comes to his own rescue. And I don't know why us fish as voters and us fish as observers don't realize that more quicker, especially in the market. But the lesson I was trying to mention is fear and greed. And fear and greed, the emotions of the market are very clear. And it's because we lament our losses 3 times more than we celebrate our gains overall. San Diego Padres win last night against Angels, Mike?
They lost.
Damn, and I'll be talking about that until tonight when they play.
Until first pitch tonight.
But if they win, it's like, okay, good. What's next? What's next?
You're supposed to win.
It's this. Find me a vein, feed me. We lament our losses, however, more than we celebrate our gains because we need it. Now, markets work on the emotions, and how we can attest to this, where you get into a stock or an investment kind of in a tepid sort of let's Greg's very, very clear, trust but verify. Okay? Let's look at it. Okay, and the stocks, let's say the stock starts going up. Oh my God, I feel good. Wow. I'm the smartest guy in the room. And what happens at the top? It is your moment of most vulnerability. It's when you get the most nervous. And all of a sudden, things pull back a little bit. Oh my gosh. And then doubt turns into desperation.
Got to sell the
house.
And
then desperation turns into capitulation. And then capitulation turns into regret. And then all of a sudden it comes back up again. And the emotions of the market go back and forth like this. And that is exactly what happened. And the reason you cannot rely on your emotions, the reason there are money managers in the world, is because they don't rely on emotions. And they look at the fact that markets do this. Now, if you look at a chart, I don't know if we were able to pull that up quickly, but if you look at a chart of the Dow going back to 1995 to today, it is a straight line up.
Yep.
But if you look closer, it's right all the way. Sure. But if you stand back, it's like, oh my God, that is a hockey stick. It looks like a hockey stick, right? Well, and the point is that the emotions of the market, I believe Donald Trump understands that a lot of things in this world run on fear and greed and emotion. Mm-hmm. The Elliott wave principle is what started what's called technical analysis in the stock market. Now, if I look at a chart of a stock and I look at what's called a moving average convergence divergence, sounds complicated, only because I say it all the time. It's called a MACD. What it's basically doing is taking a short-term moving average. So how is the price of bread doing these last 7 days? How is the price of bread doing these last 300 days? Well, the last 300 days is going like this. Last 7 days is going like this. What happens when those lines meet? That is how you can predict what a stock's going to do because Elliott, I forget, it's not T.S. Eliot, but Elliott created back in the 1930s a principle that says most people are fish. They'll follow where the other sardines are going, right? Which is why you can predict behavior, and here's how it works. If I were to tell you to buy a share of stock, Greg and Sully's Tequila Factory, and it cost you $100 a share, okay? And you bought $10,000 worth. Let's say we lost 20%. You've lost $2,000, okay? And you didn't sell it. And now it starts going up again. What do you think most people are going to do when it gets to the original value? They're going to get out of it because they feel like they dodged a bullet. Isn't that predictive? Mm-hmm. That's predictive technology. That's how you can predict what stocks are going to do. I think that's what my long-winded explanation there is how you can understand that the markets run on fear and greed, and the fact that Donald Trump has done the exact same thing is he created fear, and he understands that the market was going to tank, and that he played on greed, and he timed it. And I'll tell you what's even better. The reason he did it when he did it, because the House Republicans put out a new tax bill, which would have caved the market normally, and it didn't. The market went the other direction because of the timing of what Donald Trump did. The guy's brilliant the guy is a manipulator. Now, whether he's manipulating for good or bad is subject to discussion, but he knows what he's doing here. I mean, so I'll shut up and let Mary yell at me and let Mike agree with me.
Go ahead, Mike.
The thing is, we're talking about The tariffs are on, the tariffs are off. The only thing that I feel bad about is the fact that there's a lot of small businesses out there that were like, oh my God, I've got to sell the house. Oh my God, I'm going to buy the house back. I've got to sell the house, that type of thing. So the limbo that he put them in, the hell or whatever for that brief period of time, that's what I feel bad about the whole thing.
Well, are you feeling bad because they got emotional when you shouldn't get emotional about business?
Well, yeah, but again, and I'm not
if it's their livelihood, though.
Yeah, I'm not a small business.
A lot of people's livelihood.
Wait a second.
I'm not a small business.
It's their livelihood yet. Wait a second. Let's talk about that. It's their livelihood yet. You're willing to tell them how much they should pay an employee per hour, but it's their livelihood. But you're willing to say you have to pay them this much out of your livelihood. You can't have it both ways.
Deal.
I'm not willing to say that.
Let's not do that.
Are you for minimum wage?
You've talked me out of that. You've talked me out of that.
See, Mary, I've come to the middle, and Mary's come to the middle because of our relationship.
Yeah.
But the point is that
I'm not super far. I'm just saying that there's people that
the government wants to tell small business what to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yet at the same time, they want them to well, it's their risk, but yeah, even though it's your risk, you still want you to do things. So I have a problem. Howie, where do you stand on all this?
Yeah, I mean, I still do think that if you're a small business, you're not going to get a carve out. And, we've gone from 145% tariffs on China to 80% to now 30%. That's good for overall trade strategy. I think the relationship needs to be recalibrated, especially with China. Maybe not so much with the rest of the world, but if you get your goods from China, if you sell tchotchkes, you have a little store in New Orleans or something. I mean, you can't absorb a 30% increase in your cost, and a lot of people can't. So I wish this was done in a way that protected probably more small businesses and forced larger businesses to cope, but actually the opposite's happening. That's one of my bigger issues. And then, like you said, you're completely right on the hypocrisy of it. If we're not for 30% consumption taxes in effect, we shouldn't be for some burdensome regulation or, anything that doesn't allow price discovery. We should let market systems handle these.
Hey, Howie, how do you feel this timing at the new tax bill? Talk about the new tax bill real quick.
They have to get it done by the end of the year, or there's big problems for the budget, notwithstanding the debt ceiling that happens this summer. So I'm actually surprised we're seeing it before the end of the summer. They usually like to wait this out until the last minute. But I think that means that we're going to get a better bill in the end. This is not a bill for, deficit hawks. This is kind of a bill that kind of kickstarts all of the president's agendas. He's pushing out the debt ceiling for 4 years. So if this version passes, we won't have to worry about the debt ceiling for 4 years, which is kind of a relief both to the market and to him because there won't be a big fight. It extends the 2017 tax cuts. For you guys in California, you're getting a tripling of the SALT deduction. But blue state Republicans are saying that's not enough. So we'll see if they have the votes. I think there's going to have to be some edits.
How does this affect everyday Johnny Lunchbucket Cindy CEO?
Oh, well, we're getting some of the bigger stuff. We're getting no tax on tips. We're getting no tax on overtime pay, no tax on car loan interest. I mean, we are going to see things like, now there's plenty of exemptions. I can go into this, but Medicaid is getting work requirements. The child tax credit is increasing by 25%. There's a lot here. And then just a little dig to the universities was added kind of at the last minute. We are moving their top tax rate for the larger endowments to 21% from just 1.4%.
Wow.
So, yeah. Wow.
What is this?
Wow. What?
Oh, poor Harvard.
So how is this looking, though, on the two sides? I haven't actually read much about this because I'm in senior mode with my daughter. But
no, it's not. By the way, she's not talking about herself senior. Her daughter's a senior in high school.
And I'm a senior. Senior mode, myself, senior moments are happening.
I know that I was calling yourself senior
right
mode.
now?
I'm sundowning right this minute. This is happening. However, oh, it's funny but not funny. Okay, but let's talk about this bill. So how are both sides of the aisle looking at this? Do you think it's going to pass?
No, so we have razor thin margins in both houses of more the House. They only have a vote. So they can only lose one person and still pass the bill. So right now, this version is not going to pass. This is probably, like Sully would say, more gamesmanship from the president, saying this is my opening salvo and then I'm willing to siege you stuff afterwards. So we're probably going to get a higher SALT cap that probably needs to be more like $60,000 instead of the $10,000 that it is now. SALT is the state and local tax deduction. It's really important for blue states that have higher taxes because, richer folks have high taxes, and they've usually been able to deduct their state taxes from their federal, but that hasn't been the case since 2017. So that's probably a big sticking point.
Which I think is very scary. Howie, thank you so much. Coming up tomorrow, Howie's going to talk about what percentage more earners have to make to afford a house than they did, just 5-6 years ago? Oh. Is it 10% more?
No.
Is it 100% more? Verily, I say unto you, Mike's whole left side just got numb. Yeah, that's a bad thing.
Market analyst Howie Font, the best in the business. Hey, you know what? So are we. As the Big Biz Show continues.
So if you keep saying it, does it come true? Is that the
It'll manifest itself eventually. Don't go anywhere.
Got a haircut.
Confirmation bias.
Got a ball cut. Oh my God.
Such a Midwest. He's so from the Midwest.
Big Biz Show. Coming to you live from the Loft 100 studios in Southern California. Wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, we always appreciate you being along for the ride. That's the Day Trader Trio. Back here at the bar, it's Costa, Maribert Godwin. Our executive producer is Greg Todorov, and of course, Sully.
Well, that was a scary conversation we had with Howie.
Oh boy.
But that's okay. Howie's smartest guy in the room, and of course is a active financial analyst in the world of finance and publicly traded companies, and he knows what he's talking about. And of course, I believe that in 8 short years, he'll be president of the United States.
Yep.
I really do. And I believe he is going to run. He ran for city council in New York City at the age of 22. Did you know that?
That's amazing. Yeah.
And came this close to winning.
That's right.
Babak Taheri has a company by the name of Silvaco, right?
Yes.
Didn't we have somebody contact us about that too?
Sure did.
What do you got, Mike?
He is the CEO and director of Silvaco, their ticker symbol SVCO. And Mr. Taheri back with us here on the Big Biz Show, Babak, how you been? Good to have you back.
Great, Mike. It's nice to be back. And I do have a special Zoom background for you to flash for a second.
Yeah, let's see.
Ready?
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, because
chips and wafers.
No chips.
Every time Babak Taheri's on the air with us, Mike gets hungry.
We get hungry.
Hey, listen, can I ask you something? When I think of chips, I think of solid state in terms of less moving parts. But remember, we heard the word solid state back in the 70s and such, but it wasn't the same. Talk about where your industry's gone and then what you folks are doing, because we got a lot of response from you guys about you guys last time you were on the air with us.
No, absolutely. So the industry is moving fast. Back 40 years ago, everything was on wafers of silicon wafers that were in the order of 4-inch diameter. Then they went to 6, then they went to 8, and now they're all in 12-inch large pizza platter. The chips that are made on those wafers that actually have grown not only in terms of the size of the wafer to reduce cost of manufacturing per chip, but also the technology nodes have gone from, I would say, microns, which is the size of, a fraction the size of your hair, the features, down to nanometers and angstroms, which are atomic level. So there has been a tremendous progress in the last 40 years. It's still growing. We're still breaking the Moore's law, and in terms of technology, the companies are able to put more chips on a wafer, as you're showing it here, and be able to make those things cheaper and faster. So
it's an efficiency model that AI can help in terms of what your business is about, right? Because basically it's taking this puzzle, okay, and saying we've got to fit these 4,000 pieces on this half-inch piece of pizza.
Yes.
Right. And obviously there's, I was watching the movie. Sorry, Mike. I know we've brought pizza, vanilla wafers, and chips. But I was watching the movie The Founder the other day, which is about Ray Kroc and McDonald's. And the guys at McDonald's, they went to a tennis court, and they drew out how they were going to have, we moved from this station to this station to this station to this station, and they had to do it. So AI helps you do the same thing to get the most efficiency, because the more efficiency you can get out of that landscape, right?
Right. Right.
That's what this is all about, because pretty soon, the more efficiency you can get on a certain piece of real estate, whether it's an inch big or a mile in, it means we're going to have more power in the palm of our hand, or in terms of computing. Is that right?
Yeah. So that's the first order of AI being applied in terms of floor planning of manufacturing, how optimized each of these steps can be, and where equipments are placed in order to optimize movement of wafers. That's the first step, as you alluded to. The second step is now you're trying to make a hamburger in McDonald's. How each of these layers of material or meat or lettuce or tomatoes you add, where do you place them? How do you locate them? How do you make them so that they're done faster and cheaper to get things out the door? So that's the next step of AI to help us make these wafers processed more efficiently with higher yield and lower costs. And as you're showing in your background, we're just helping them to do that. So.
Babak Taheri is the CEO Director of Silvaco. His company ticker symbol is SVCO. Babak, as far as the chip race is concerned, is there just a core group of the Silvacos out there in the world that are, at light speed racing to make, the perfect chip, or is it a huge swath of companies that are trying to do so?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Mike. So if you look at the space we work in, we are called electronic design automation. We have software that automate design of chips. And now we have added software that helps manufacturing of chips. So you'll find out that there is no more than a handful of companies doing this. Historically, if you look at the past 40 years, there have been about a handful of companies. We are one of the few that for the past 20 years went IPO last year and joined that group. Wow. I call it a coveted space. So it's a very special space to get into. So,
hey, I want to talk about your press release just recently about your financial results. 9 new customers, which is, when you talk to your customers, we're not talking about $50,000 to your customers. We're talking about, so you've got something like gross bookings of about $14 million with revenue of another $14 million in the first quarter. You guys are doing better than you actually talked about at the end of last year. Did you expect that? Yeah. Exactly, because I was looking at some of your earnings calls and what you expect, and you've got to be careful as a CEO when you do those earnings calls, because when people ask you what to expect going forward, you don't want to over-promise, under-deliver. But man, you over-delivered big this time. Was that a surprise to you?
No, not really. Frankly, as you said, we expected the growth. We've always forecasted and guided the street that we will grow in the order of 10 to 15% annually. We are on that trajectory. And last year we added 46 new customers. Last quarter we added 9. So we expect to have those orders of magnitude added new logos and customers as we go forward in this start journey for us. It's the first year. We actually celebrated our first year being an IPO company a few days ago. So no, that it's expected, it's forecasted, it's communicated to the industry that those are the rates we're going to grow. And historically, EDA companies, since they are not part of the supply chain providing physical goods, but we do software, we are part of the value chain. We actually are in the first step of when someone needs to design a chip or manufacture, and we step in and help them to get to there. So
the name of the company is Silvaco, ticker symbol is SVCO. What are you most excited about for the rest of the year, buddy? What are we looking forward to? Other than us following you and making you guys famous. Other than that, what are you looking forward to?
We appreciate that. We definitely want to be more famous. But we are looking into growing the company both organic and inorganic. We actually announced 2 acquisitions this year alone. So don't be surprised if we will do more acquisitions and grow faster as the acquisition starts getting rolled into our companies. And as a matter of fact, the last acquisition we was less than 2 weeks ago, and we are showing very good progress on integrating them and and getting those customers also added to the list of our customers. So that's what we would be looking for.
Babak Taheri, CEO Director, Silvaco, ticker symbol SVCO. Can you just put a chip in the football so we know when it crosses the goal line? That's all I ask. That's all I ask. All right, keep it here. Much more to come with the Big Biz Show. Don't go anywhere. Loft 100 Studios, the Big Biz Show, and our affiliates and our hosts are not registered investment advisors or broker-dealers.
Our show hosts make no commitment that the purchase of securities of companies profiled or otherwise mentioned in our programming
are suitable or advisable for any person, or that an investment in such securities will be profitable in general.
Given the nature of the company's profile and the lack of an active trading market for the securities, investing is highly speculative and carries a certain high degree of risk.
We profile selected publicly traded and privately held companies on our program.
Most of these companies that we profile have provided compensation to Loft 100 Studios and its hosts for the profile coverage.
From time to time, we sell shares of the companies profiled in the open market that we receive as compensation for coverage of client companies.
But never sell stocks if we are speaking about interviewing or covering a public company who has paid compensation.
Specific questions on compensation can be obtained by contacting producer at sullyandgroup.com.
Listeners should verify all claims and do their own due diligence before investing in any securities mentioned on this program.
Investing in securities is speculative and carries a high degree of risk.
We encourage our investors to invest carefully and read the investor information available at the websites on the
Securities and Exchange Commission at sec.gov and or the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA, at www.finra.org.
I like it.
Wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, those of you brave men and women in the United States Armed Forces, listening on American Forces Network as always, thank you for what you do, what you've done for us. That is the Day Trader Trio back here at the bar. It's Costa, it's our executive producer, Greg Todorov, and it's Sully. Three Musketeers. You're welcome.
Where's Mary?
I'm sorry, who?
Where's Mary Bergman?
Who?
Did we just start the show? She just shows up when she wants to show up?
What? I mean, what a job.
She just shows up when she needs to.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Miss America.
I totally set her up. I completely set her up.
Yeah.
Mary and I are brother and sister to the very end.
Love it.
How long have we been?
Too long.
She doesn't even let you finish it now.
I was going to say getting along.
Yeah.
5 minutes? Whatever. Clock ticking. I've been here for over 6 years, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Long time.
Seems like 10 minutes.
I know.
Underwater.
Sunshine and roses.
Seems like 10 minutes underwater. Hello. Okay, hold on a second.
Good one.
I want to look up my buddy Brian. I sent a message to Brian Kocher. I said, where's my Funyun flavored almond milk? And he answered me back. Introduce our guest and help.
Brian Kocher is the CEO. The company is called Sunopta, and their ticker symbol is STKL. Sully, remind me again, TSX stands for?
Toronto Stock Exchange. But it used to be the TCSV. It used to be the Vancouver Stock Exchange a million years ago, but it's dual listed.
Okay.
Under Toronto and NASDAQ at the same time. But one of our favorite guys, literally, and he's finally back out from under the shell, Brian Funyun Milk Kocher.
Future co-host of the
Yeah, you definitely are definitely a co-host. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man.
It's great to see you guys. Thanks so much for having me again. And Sully did text me where the Funyun milk was. And Mike, you challenged our R&D team, and as we speak on the road is some Funyun flavored almond milk showing up at the studios tomorrow.
He's getting teed up.
That's amazing.
Hey, Brian, God bless you, Brian. You guys, I want to go through the revenue highlights and stuff in a second. I want to talk about your first quarter, which is fantastic. But before then, I want to talk about what you guys do for people who miss you for a while, because you had to go in a quiet period for a little bit because of everything going on with what you guys have going on. But explain to folks who didn't get to see you last time exactly what Sunopta does, because you have kind of a customized supply chain solution for the grocery basket of the world. Let's talk about that.
That's 100% right. So we supply solutions on either a branded or a co-manufacturing private label basis for people in non-dairy milks and then better for you, healthier fruit snacks. We've got 2 different manufacturing networks, 1,200 employees across the nation, and all they're doing every day is trying to get up and serve the customers better. So we're really excited about the categories we play in. That non-dairy plant-based beverage category is growing like crazy. Nutritional beverages, even broths and tea are growing. I mean, heck, we didn't invent soup and tea yesterday, but they're still growing. And so we're really excited about the categories in which we play.
Those categories, Brian, if we look at, Jared, if you could bring up our Emmy Award-winning director, Jared Coleman, in the control room there, if you guys could bring up that chart again. If you look at these categories here, are these dyed-to-the-wool basic categories that every ConAgra here in the U.S., Bachoco down in Mexico or Central America, are these the type of things that you lean on as distribution companies out there, or are these just arbitrary because these are the lowest hanging fruit in terms of salability?
Oh, for us, we lean on them because they're the fastest growing segment. So if you look at plant-based beverages, high single-digit growth rate. Protein shakes, ready-to-drink protein shakes, consumption's growing at 25%. Even broth and tea are in the mid-single digits. If I go all the way over to fruit snacks, that's a 20+% growth area. So one of the reasons we love the categories is the categories are growing like crazy. The second reason is we're really aligned with great customers. Our customers are typically outperforming the categories in which they play by 300 or 400 basis points. And so, again, you win with winning horses, and we're winning with winning horses right now.
Brian Kocher, the CEO of Sunopta, ticker symbol is STKL, also SOY. Brian, as far as that picture for the Better For You snacks, is that bacon licorice? I see there.
Hey, look, man, you got your flavored almond milk. Give the R&D department a rest for a little bit.
Maybe we can loan them to you for a couple of days there.
Just trying to make you some money, Brian. That's all I'm doing here. As far as North America is concerned, what's going on with Canada, the United States, the tariffs, kind of this trade war between the 2 countries? Are you affected by that at all?
I'd say a little bit. Most of our production is in the U.S. 98% of our revenue is in the U.S. We do have some raw products that are sourced globally, and so we feel some impact from that. We also have a fruit snack plant in Niagara, Canada, and we import product into the U.S. From Canada. So we are impacted a little bit, but I think a great part of our business model is for years and years and years, we've had raw product pass-through pricing. Okay. Raw products go up, price goes down, they go down, price goes down. Up, price down. So we're very transparent, and we view tariffs as just another raw product cost that we pass through to the customers.
Gotcha.
Go ahead, Mar.
Well, Brian, I was thinking that there's a big push with RFK and MAHA, is that how they pronounce it? And
Make America Healthy Again.
It seems like this fits right into this, because I'm thinking, how can you get all those sectors of food that you showed earlier into schools? Because the school lunches are not the healthiest necessarily, or the vending machines out there. And it seems like we're on a push, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, as parents, to make the food for our children a little bit healthier. And it seems like you're right in that zone.
Mary, I'm going to give you the easiest guilt-free buying decision you've ever made. All natural colors, all natural flavors, too.
Amazing.
So certainly we're under the halo of Better For You. Our alternatives are better environmentally as well. So we hit a lot of the points that make shoppers really proud to engage with our categories and our products.
Hey, I got to ask about our earnings highlights. Revenue's up 9%, driven by, your volume growth. You had your share repurchase authorization of up to $25 million. That sends a huge signal to the market of how you feel about your own stock. Talk about some of the highlights that came out during your first quarter results, because it's better than what you had anticipated when I look back at your earnings calls last year.
Yeah, it's certainly the volume growth has been a highlight for us, not only this quarter, but actually, Sully, if you go back to 24, 23, volume growth has been a hallmark of Sunopta, and partly because, again, we participate in great categories. I think our efforts in driving adjusted EBITDA and gross margin, that also helps. We outlined a path for how we see growth margin expanding over the course of the next several quarters. And then ultimately, as you rightfully highlighted, we added another tool in our toolbox for creating shareholder value when we have that share repurchase authorization. I still am a firm believer that our largest path and our best path to shareholder value is growth and funding growth through capital expansion when needed. We just don't envision us needing it right now. And so having a share repurchase program available is really helpful in driving and maintaining.
Well, there's a teachable moment here, and the teachable moment is when you see a share repurchase press release out, that is the time to pay attention to a company, because that shows exactly the faith the management has in their own company. I mean, it's pretty remarkable. Brian, we need to have you back every day, buddy. It's so great to have you back on.
I love it. It's good seeing you all, and talk soon.
Thanks, pal. Brian Kocher, CEO, Sunopta. Ticker symbols STKL, SOY. Soon, bacon licorice coming to you.
No, apparently there's going to be some Funyun almond milk here tomorrow.
That's how you make the millions.
That's you make the medium bucks.
More to come with the Big Biz Show. Keep it here. Inside the Loft 100 studios in sunny Southern California, Big Biz Show rolls on. That right there, picture is the Day Trader Trio, part of the world-famous Sullivan Band.
Yep.
Back here at the bar, Costa, Marybird Godwin, and of course, Sully.
You know, the Sullivan Band, our band, got played on the world-famous KROQ, K-Rock, 6.7 in Los Angeles.
Sunday
I saw.
night, locals only.
Wow.
Heavy rotation.
DJ Miles.
Yeah, can we put, what's the name? It's called Locals Only?
Locals Only.
Can we put that on the, can we show the video at some point here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Pretty awesome.
It's pretty awesome. Devin shot that. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, good. What were we talking about before the break? Were you talking about something before the break? We had some
robots?
The sleep.
Sleep. Yes, that's right. Yeah. So we had a guest on the air from Nucalm, N-U-C-O-M.
Yes.
They're not a sponsor.
Nope.
Although they'd be a great sponsor. They have an app. Okay, it's not a device; it's an app.
Yes.
And you know, there's a lot of help you sleep apps where they show you what's this stuff called with the in the back,
white
noise, or they have or the you know, the waves going in and out.
Yeah.
Rainstorms.
Their claim to fame is you put an eye mask on in the afternoon at 3 p.m. and they have a 20-minute power nap, and you turn on the thing, you put your headphones on and do this. I will tell you. And I know there's a fee to download it. It's not a lot of money.
No.
It's not crazy, but you got to pay for it. But if you are a person that doesn't nap like I do, I don't nap. I'm not a napper. But sometimes I feel like I'm not, like I wear this Whoop strap, and I could tell like last night's sleep I got 60% sleep the whole night. Just was one of those nights.
Yeah.
Now I thought I slept well, but apparently I didn't. And of course, you doing stuff with Vivos are heavily sort of monitoring that.
Sleeping like a rock.
This Nucalm app, and they're not sponsors. I'm just telling you this.
No.
I took a 20-minute power nap yesterday with this thing. Fell asleep like I was gone. Woke up and played pickleball 3 times for a total of 3 hours yesterday.
So it was 20 minutes? I love a good nap.
20 minutes.
But that's the quickest.
But didn't feel like I got hit by a truck.
Okay. See, that's
the problem. Sometimes I wake up.
I want you to. Can you? I don't, Jared. I don't know if you guys look. It's Nucalm. If I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. Yeah.
Nucalm.
Yeah, I was very interested in that.
But the funny part. So I bought their eye mask. It was just. It's a thing because.
Is it weighted?
It's something's funky about it because there's no light. I mean, you are in darkness in a cave somewhere in South America somewhere. I mean, you are completely. It is like I can't close my eyes and get as dark as that made it.
Right.
There it is, right there.
Yeah.
And in fact, what's interesting is that's what I dreamt about.
So I woke up.
No, but it is a wonder drug. And it's just sound. I don't even. I was so asleep. Because I was this awake. I'll just try it.
Damn.
Like out.
See, what Mary said, though, power napping's great, but when you wake up like, oh my God, I need another 12 hours and it didn't do anything.
See, there's this window, though, because sometimes it is just 20 minutes and then I'm refreshed. But if it's too long, I cross over into the, oh my God.
Just might as well sleep till morning.
All right. Well, what's going on in the market right now is it's not going to put you to sleep right now. Here to talk about that a little bit is
Dale Smothers from RDS Wealth to talk about wealth and what's going on in our markets. Dale, welcome to the Big Biz Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. How are you guys?
Hey, Dale, I got a question for you. Why do we care about GDP, which is the report card to our economy?
Sure.
And by the way, a big hello to our affiliate American Life Network now, again, and of course American Forces Radio Network, as well as our TV networks, and Bloomberg El Financiero and Bloomberg Europe. GDP is the report card to anybody's economy. Consumer Price Index, which is kind of a stupid index because it strips out the one thing we care about, and that's food and gas. And the Producer Price Index, which is where you'd probably figure out what you're going to do with value-added tax. And why do we care about these things? And I think the question is, why does Johnny Lunchbucket and Cindy CEO care about these things?
Sure. So the average investor, Sully, probably shouldn't care about these things. It's kind of like driving your car in the rearview mirror, looking at what happened the last quarter or the last 6 months. It doesn't give us any real advantageous moves that we should be making in the future. But the CEOs, they care about these things because it helps us gauge whether or not the economy is slowing down or speeding up. And you know, especially like a CPI rating is going to give us a measure on our inflation and how much prices are going up in America. At the end of the day, though, the clients we're talking to probably need to turn off that type of financial noise and sleep well in retirement by doing so. And again, all of this up and down in the CPI, GDP, the PPI, all of these reports that come out, it's kind of like if you were flying on an airplane, Sully, and you were given a readout of exactly how high your altitude was, and just by moving 1 or 2 feet one way or the other, we freak out and jump out of the airplane. If we look at these and make decisions on our long-term investment strategy, sometimes we make the bad decision because this airplane, the market, is built to fly in these turbulent environments that we find ourselves in.
So here's a question Mary talked to us about earlier in the program today. Where do you stand? And by the way, and this is your chance. I got an email about this. How long have you been in the air? 30 years on radio and 20 years on TV. There's over 100 million TV homes that watch this program in across this country and other countries. And then, of course, we're also simulcast on radio and American Forces Network. You're going to finally answer this question as a money manager guy. Is it smarter to put all of your money into equities versus owning a home because of the property taxes and the maintenance that you were talking about earlier? Because I've heard more than one of you guys say, I don't even own a house. I just put all my money because it's liquid here. I can, because the hockey sticks are very similar over time.
Sure.
Real estate's not liquid, but it's a safe investment. People feel you can touch it, and right. As I said before, there's only 2 paths to wealth in this country. You got to own a business. You got to own real estate. Owning a business is like owning Apple stock. Where do you stand on this? Because this is something that I get in arguments about all the time.
Whether or not a decision is smart or Sully really depends on an individual's plan. And I'll pull back the curtain here on the industry since it's just us talking. I know you talked about millions of people watching, but I'm going to act like it's just the 4 of us here. The industry has a way of giving advice that benefits the industry. And so if we're not careful, we can hear advice like, oh, put your money in the equities markets because real estate, well, that may be because that individual doesn't profit much if you put money in the real estate market. Equities have a position in everyone's portfolio. It should be a very strong position, no matter where you are in your retirement journey. But whether or not to own a home has a lot to do with your geographical location, your desires for legacy, your desires for, a piece of the American dream.
And you don't need those metrics when you're dealing with buying equities, do you?
That's exactly right. The tax, the things that you need to account for in owning a piece of real estate really does tax, insurance, the escrow that goes into all that. It can really start to erode the actual return. So if you're buying real estate like a primary mortgage, let's say, or a primary home, if you're buying that for an asset, it may be the wrong reason to purchase a home. And, I wouldn't say that the majority of the people who buy a home look at that as I'm going to purchase an asset, although they are. If you're buying that for simple appreciation, you may want to reevaluate your plan.
Dale Smothers, RDS Wealth, his website, rdsmotherswealth.com. Dale, thank you for the visit. And more importantly, thank you for the visit today on the Big Biz Show. We're going to see you next time.